Hi guys. Hi guys. Hey elements. And welcome back to Elemental ASMR. I hope you're all doing really well. I always say I'm excited for these videos, for whatever video I'm filming, but I'm actually quite excited for tonight's video. Well, excited and nervous, very nervous. I actually filmed this video yesterday, but was a little unhappy with how it turned out, so I thought I was going to take another shot at it, a bit more prepared, and had a little bit of a consultation with my partner to get his opinion, just to see what he thinks. But we are going to talk about my coming out story and how it sort of affected my life, like being gay. Like the way I would sort of word it is like how I think if I've been treated differently or if it's not really affected anything. But so I just thought it'd be a cool, interesting video for you guys to get to know me a little bit better. So hopefully this is something you're interested in. I will say, so just from one of the points that I know I want to raise, there is just a slight trigger warning, like one or two things that have been said to me. It's not the nicest, and I'm more concerned for you guys that if you hear it, it might be very upsetting for yourselves. Obviously I'm more than happy to talk about it because I've already sort of made peace with the comments, but I just wanted to give a brief warning. So if it's just something, I will give a warning later on in the video when I'm about to talk about stuff, but obviously I just wanted to give you a pre-warning just in case. So anyway, we will just sort of crack on. All I will say, if you are new, please consider subscribing down below. Yeah, I'd love to see this channel grow. I love all of you guys. You are all the reason that keep me sort of going, making new video and content. So I'd love to grow the channel. But if you're already subscribed, or if you want to show some extra support, maybe leave a like or a comment down below, or share this video with a friend. Oh, I will also just pre-warn, I'm in my hotel room at uni, and the people around me are quite noisy, and when I was filming yesterday, doors being closed were quite loud, so I will try and hopefully no one will bother us, but I just want to pre-warn you, so I do apologise in advance. But yes, so the reason this whole video came about was because on Sunday I spoke about my opinion on the new season of Heartstopper. It's a great show, but I think it's personally a great show. It's what I spoke about on Sunday was that I think it's an incredible show for the fact that it actually gives like young people, or not even just young people, anyone, I think it gives them the opportunity to look at stuff that's current in right now in media, the opportunity to see something and go, oh my goodness, like I'm dealing with that, and it's so incredible to see something so mainstream, and it makes me think that actually that's normal and that's fine. That's how I like to look at it. I think it's an incredibly cute show. Obviously season 3 has taken a bit of a heavier tone, but I think that's okay too. I think it's great to talk about these things, and a lot of what's happening in, or I've watched all of season 3 now, but the stuff that has happened in season 3, I was not really aware of. Obviously I don't want to give any spoilers away in case you haven't seen it. But it gives me, someone who hasn't even dealt with stuff like that, a perspective on it, and actually goes, oh, okay, like that is normal. It can happen to anyone. Anyway, but I wanted to talk about my coming out story because Heartstopper for me is that cute little thing. I wish it was around when I was in school, and it would make me feel a lot more comfortable with the idea of like coming out, or like thinking that, not to say that I ever thought that being gay was wrong. I always just got more conscious because it wasn't as popular as it, not popular, but it wasn't as an okay thing then as it is now. But yeah, so going back in time now, granddad I am, back in 2000 and, I think it was 2012, because I left school in 2013, and I told my mum in 2000, when I was in year 10, so the year before, so 2012. So I remember when it came to, I will just make a quick side note. A lot of what I'm going to talk about, like from my personal opinion, like my personal experiences, the people in my life have changed massively since experiences have happened. So please don't think or like upset that they still are the same. I think just everyone needs time to learn on like certain things, but I just wanted to parenthesize that, just as in like to pre-warn, yeah, just in case. So when I was in year 9, year 8, year 9, I spent like a year or two, I think it was even from like year 7, just thinking, how do I tell like my mum and dad? It really came to a head in year 9 because I was always so nervous, like, but I wanted to tell them. I just felt like I didn't want to lie about it anymore. I just wanted to be like, this is me, this is who I am. And I got myself so worked up that I made a plan in my head that I would write my dad, because my mum and dad are separated. I used to go to my dad for weekends and then live with my mum. But I kept thinking, oh my goodness, I'm just gonna write each of them a note, and then when I like leave my mum, I'll leave her the note, and then when I leave my dad, I'll leave him the note. I voted against this in the end because I think I was too nervous. I don't think I was ready. But a fair bit of me was like, especially towards my dad, he doesn't deserve me to tell him. Growing up, he did make comments like, I remember there was this one night we was eating dinner at his, and we always used to like sit, because he didn't have a very big home, we used to sit in front of the TV while eating dinner. And I remember an episode of Hollyoaks, I think it was, came on, or it was an advert, and it was two guys kissing, and he was like, oh, none of you better turn out like that. And it just sort of crushed me, because I just sort of sat there just like, yeah, weird. And it was just like, I think that was like the first sort of like comment that I had to deal with, like being quite like hurtful. I think my story in general is quite a generic one. Like, people's around them are, like I said, I suppose, like unaware until they're told, and then they sort of change their behaviours. But anyway, I digress. I'm not doing a very good job at storytelling. I keep going off tangents or like adding in odd bits. I'm in my podcaster era anyway, so we'll just put it at that. No. But yeah, so my dad, to me, and where my dad didn't really make much effort with me and my twin when we were younger, because he sort of looked at it like, well, you are making the effort with me, so I'm not going to make the effort with you. I'm not really sure. And even to this day, I don't really understand it, because we were kids. But I had heard this, like, opinion, or like the same sort of attitude from dads on like TikTok before, from like a few different people, so maybe it's just a common trait. So I sort of knocked my whole idea to write letters on the head, because I was just like, I like got myself to a point of like stressed out that I just was so scared. And then I remember asking my mum one day, what would you say if one of us was like gay? And she offers, the more I think about it, or like look back at it, she obviously knew. She's so new. But she was obviously very supportive and reassuring to me. Obviously followed it up with like, oh, is there something you want to tell me? And I was like, no, why would there be? I'm just curious. But I remember weeks, so like maybe another year later, in year 10, I remember getting so stressed out about it. Katy Perry's Fireworks came out. Odd thing, I always remember the oddest things, but that came out, and I remember in the music video there were two guys who kissed, and obviously if you know the lyrics to Fireworks, it just sort of resonated. It was just like, obviously I think so many other like gay kids out there would have thought the same, but it was just like the sort of like the spark that set it all off. And for like a couple of weeks I was getting really depressed and like really like scared and like, what, oh my god, what do I do, until there was one night, I was getting ready for a Halloween party, and I said to my mum, can we have a chat please? So she said yes, blah blah blah. We went and sat in their room, and he's not the most patient of people. She was quite, she was very much like, well, what is it then? Because I was sort of I sat down in the room with her, and I just sort of froze. I just clammed up, and yeah, it was a bit of an odd one, but she's not very patient, as I said, and was like, well, is there something you need to talk to me about or not? And I eventually told her, obviously worked myself up to the point of tears. Not to think, I never ever thought my mum would be unsupportive. I think she had known for a long time, as most parents do. And even like when I like look back at like videos, or like from like, there's one video from like Christmas Day when I was like quite young, maybe like year 7, and I remember me and my twin got Nintendo DS's, and I can just hear it from the video. I was like, oh my god, a Nintendo DS with Harry Potter, and I was like, wow, that's a really gay voice. So obviously my mum knew. She was so supportive. She did say like, obviously, yeah, like, do not worry, it hasn't changed anything, like, you're still the same person. But I think it is a scary experience. I think having to like push yourself, for some people it's nice and easy. For me, it was such an experience of like having to push myself over that wall to be like, I'm gay. And like, even to this day, I don't know why, but I hate saying those words. Or like, if I meet someone new, I hate the idea of having to be like, my partner, my boyfriend. I just can't stand, because you never know how people are going to react. Like, I see stuff on the news all the time. Most of it is from America, but it's just people are just almost going backwards to these days, and it's so scary. Yeah, so it's really weird. But yeah, so I just hate having to say it. And when I told my mum, it was like the hardest thing. Like, it almost felt like I just felt like a massive clump was just in my throat. I didn't want to say it, but she was super supportive, very kind about it all. And actually, like, it was a whole year, about maybe, I think I told my mum in the October, and then when I finished school in the June or July, I think that was around the time that I told the next people, which were my stepdad and my twin brother. And this, I look back at it and I always think, I'm sort of glad she did, but I always sort of think, in the moment I remember being so uncomfortable, like so uncomfortable, because my mum was sort of like very much pushing me to tell my stepdad and my twin, and I remember hating it in the moment, absolutely hating it. I think I told my stepdad first, and then I told my twin. My twin was super, well, it was the most awkward interaction we've ever had. I told him, and then he like picked me up, like you know when you like hug someone and pick them up. It was so weird. But he was supportive. He knew, obviously. But my stepdad, again, he was supportive, but I just remember he asked me questions, and I just remember in the moment being like, what? Why would you ask me that? Or like, why would you, like, because you wouldn't ask my twin that, he was straight. And I think like one of the questions was like, do you know what the why is the reason, or like something along the lines of like, and it was just like really weird. And I remember walking away from the conversation just being like, because he started it by being like, oh well, I'm sure your mum's already asked you all these questions. My mum didn't actually ask me any questions when I told her. She was just really supportive and just said, okay, brilliant. The problem is, I think my stepdad is just one of those people that it's like, just, he's a very academic person, but not very sociable, smart person. And I think he was just trying to like get an understanding because of his academic brain, but in the meantime he didn't actually realise how it came across. But they're all super great, super supportive. Going back to my dad, my biological dad, from everything I have already said, i.e. like the comment he made, and the fact he didn't really make much effort with us as kids, I had decided that you don't deserve me to give you this sort of like, because to me, like, if you're coming out to someone, that tells me that you have respect for them and you care about them and care what they have to, like, their opinion on it and stuff. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Everyone else might see it differently, but I would only really say, like, want to tell someone if I valued them and what they have to say. And I just had decided you don't deserve it. Like, the amount of times as a kid I was let down by you. So even though he kept asking, because he kept asking my twin, and there was one time when they went shopping together and I think I was working, he had turned round and sort of said to my twin, oh, is Stephen a bit, like fruity? And to this day I still think it's so funny. Like, the older generation having like these words for it. But yeah, just for a bit of context, I obviously had told my twin and like my mum and stepdad in like year 10, 11, but I didn't actually end up telling my biological father until I was in my last year of college, so like 3 years later. And it wasn't really much I told him, it was more of a oh, like, I haven't seen you in a while, because he used to live 3 hours away from me, so it was a bit of a hassle to drive to and back. So I said, I haven't seen you in ages, like, can I come and stay with you? I'm going to be bringing someone along. And then I just did introductions when we got there, and that's as much as he got. And that's how I wanted it to be. If he had an issue with it, fine, I'll get back in the car and go. Obviously he didn't. He is, like, even now, like, he's so supportive. He, like, whenever I come away to uni, he normally always offers my partner Harry, or you all know, over for dinner, and him and my stepmom always look after him. They're amazing. I think they just needed us, like us kids, to be adults to interact with us. I think my dad had a tough time interacting with us as kids. But I wouldn't change my relationship with my father for anything now. He's really come a long way, which is so great to see. Like, he actually cares, and like having conversations with him, like, it's really sweet, and it does make me a little bit emotional. But yeah, so because this has been like a really big thing for me to talk about. I haven't really mentioned it on YouTube. Obviously I've had Harry on the channel, and I don't even know why I'm getting so emotional. Oh dear. I can just feel it, like, in my eyes, and I hope I don't look crazy on camera. No, I haven't really mentioned about the whole gay thing on YouTube because I was so scared that I've worked so hard for all my subscribers and putting up great content. Well, I like to think it's great content. I get really worried that people would just be like, ugh, and just be like, I'm unsubscribing. Because I think the only time it's ever happened is when me and Harry did a Pokemon video together, and someone actually commented being like, you're gay. It was something along the lines of like, and I think they might have even said like, I'm not watching your videos again. And that hit me, and I could only tell that it might be someone a bit younger from like the way they were talking, but it was just like, oh, that's really upsetting actually, and I hated it. And that's the reason why that I've never really wanted to talk about the whole gay thing on YouTube, because I was so scared that that was just going to happen on such a big level. But with the whole with watching Heartstopper recently, I just wanted to do this video because I thought it would allow you guys to get to know me a bit better, and allow me to open up to you, if you know what I mean. Yeah, because I just don't think that it's sort of like, it seems a bit pointless for me to be just coming on here uploading videos and then you guys not getting to know much or like the real me. So I just thought it'd be good to start off with the gay thing. The gay thing. But yeah, anyway, where was I? My dad, yeah. The only other person that I had in the family that I had an issue with, and I will just do a slight, like, there's one trigger warning here and there will be another one in a little bit. There is one little slight trigger warning. My brother said something quite nasty, nothing too extreme, but if someone's been beaten up or hit or assaulted because of being gay. I just want to make you aware that the comment might upset you. My brother, my older brother, not my twin brother, has always been a bit of a let's say a see you next Tuesday for YouTube's sake. Just not a very nice person. His thinking and his mindset is very old-fashioned, and it's just like, who do you think you are? And I remember there was one time he was having a tough time, like drinking. He was on the cusp of being kicked out. Bearing in mind he couldn't have been any more than like 18, 19 at the time. He had to ask my mum, can I go out drinking tonight? And she said no. And he kicked off, trapped her in the kitchen, and I was not having any of this because she was literally yelling for help. Like he would not let her past, and I wasn't having any of it. I walked up and said, "Oh, get out the bleeping way," and it was almost like a little like a dog had turned its attention to something else, and he just got in my face. Was just thought he'd be like trying to intimidate me. And one of the things he said was, "I can't wait for you to come out so I can beat the living shit into you." Yeah, not something you would hit, because I hadn't even come out at this point. So obviously it was very aware. People were very aware of that, and before I'd even said anything. And it sort of crushed me a little bit, because no one really called him out on it. No one really sort of stood up for me like I stood up for my mum. Yeah. It's an odd thing to rethink about. I haven't thought about it in ages. But he soon after that just went to bed, and I sort of just cracked on with my evening. I can't remember what else happened. But yeah, it's comments like that just make me sort of feel so I don't know why. I think it's always something in the back of my brain that, or maybe that's what sort of links me to being oh, I don't want to say that I'm gay because of a comment like that, and the comment that my dad made, and it's just maybe it is deep down just affecting me more than I actually think. But yeah, he made that comment, and then after I had come out, my mum trying to be nice to everyone. This was maybe a couple years later, when I got a boyfriend. She pulled me aside one time and said, "Would you mind leaving your bedroom door open, because my older brother and my nan don't feel comfortable with the door being shut, but my twin brother, who had a girlfriend, could have the bedroom door shut." And I did lose my temper at my mum, because I thought, what? How, why would you even ask that? How do you think that's fair on me? He's the sort of narrow-minded one in this sort of circumstance, so why would you actually ask that? And the thing is, it's and this is what I was sort of getting at previously, is I think people are still learning, this day, I think it all just comes from a place of like wanting you to be like safe and like all of that, but she still makes comments like when I go on holiday, like not to hold hands with my partner, not to wear anything rainbow, because she's so scared that I'm gonna get like beaten up or attacked, which is so sad to me. That's the mindset, and because you do see stuff on the news, but I think it's just a bit like she's still learning that actually like I can look after myself, but back then she was still learning how to like actually be what's the word, not like an ally, but she's still trying to figure out how to be supportive. Obviously she was supportive, but I meant like not saying things like that were like could be classed as upsetting, like the discrimination of it between me and my twin. But yeah, so I will just say at this point, just if people around you are making comments, not to say that they're valid too or they're correct, maybe just say to them like, why do you think that's okay to say, or just approach them and have that conversation, because most of the time it's about like this is all our first time maybe on Earth, who knows, that's another deep dive question, but this is all our first time on Earth. We're all still learning how to interact with people, all different things. Approach that person and have that conversation calmly. Yeah, that's all I'll say, because I still do it to these days. Like since meeting my partner, he's been a great support in the fact of making me stand up for myself when it comes to family, because normally I used to be like, oh whatever, they are what they are, but I had actually noticed since Harry had been in the scene that I got really tired and really agitated with the fact of my brothers, whatever I would do, even if it's like hold my partner's hand, or like if they make like a rude sexual joke and I just hit back at them and go like sort of said the same sort of thing, but with me and my partner, they would both squirm, and I was just like, and it's not because it's because it's family, they squirm because it was the gay thing, and apparently that's gross. And I had just got to my wit's end with it, and I was like, who do you think you are to turn around and think that that's appropriate? Since mentioning it, they don't really do it anymore, or at least I know for a fact my twin doesn't really do it, which de-incentivises. It stops my older brother doing it. I don't know the words, you know I'm all severely dyslexic. I'm bad with words. But yeah, so it does make things a little bit more comfortable, i.e. the fact that why can't I make those jokes? Why can't I, do you know what I mean? Just because I'm not straight, why would I have to be left out of that situation? But yeah, so it's just odd things. The only other time that I've had something negative said to me was quite recently, actually, and it was quite a horrible thing. So I will just give another little trigger warning about comments of unaliving someone's self. Again, I really don't want anyone to be triggered or upset by this, so please skip past. What I will say is in the comment section, or the description down below. I'm going to try and have a little research and find some links to somewhere where, if the previous comment about like an assault, like fighting and stuff, or comment about unaliving are triggering, I would like to put them in the description. And if you feel like you want some support on that, or like just to look into something, I'll put them down there just to help out. Sorry, someone's outside, like, closing doors. So I will do my best to try and find something. So yeah. But yes, so just a brief warning on comments of the nature of, yeah, that. I don't really want to say it again. So just to give a bit of context, through work, like my whole working life, I've been quite fortunate. I've always had a very supportive person, like a good friend, a bit of a work bestie, shall we say. And most recently in the same company I've been in, the last two job roles I've been on, last two teams I've been in, I've actually had like a male friend, which is weird because normally the rest of my life it's always been females. But the two guys, absolutely great, really kept work entertaining. It was like having, like, I just think back at working with both of them and think that it was a bit like a, what's it called, like a, just a bit of a comedy club. We were just always bouncing off each other. And I've been quite fortunate all my working life that, well, all my life, not even just working life, I've never really come into contact, apart from the odd comments that family have made. I've never had derogatory comments from other people that I've met, or even just randoms. I'm very fortunate in that sense, and I know that that's not always the case. So I do feel incredibly lucky. But I can understand that it's not been so easy for others. Yeah, so just for a bit of context, I've always had quite supportive people, like never really had said boo to a goose about it all. And that really sort of hit home, because even before I made this video, maybe like a month or two ago, I had it sort of dawned on me, the realisation, because my new current team, there's two gents that are friends from a previous job, and then there's two younger lads that have become like besties from this role. They're both, and I am focusing on the two younger ones, and they are like 20 or 21, I can't remember, so they are quite young. Whether that be a free pass or just naivety, whatever you want to say, I personally still think they're old enough to know better. But yes, so anyway, sorry. There's a team of 5 of us, obviously, the 2 different pairs, and these 2 young lads are very much like beer, birds, and football. I couldn't think of another B. But it was quite a difficult transition, because I had always had that person where I had like a really good connection with them and I could have a joke non-stop. Don't get me wrong, I do have a good joke with the team, but I don't currently have that person that I can sort of almost like go to and have a moan or confide in, or like just have a good old chat. And it was really odd for me. Like I almost felt alienated a little bit. But anyway, I wanted to put my best foot forward. I wanted to try and make friends with my new team, and trying to get involved. So one day when we're working, one of the younger lads, I'm not sure why, he's got a bit of an obsession with asking really stupid questions. He turned round to me and said, if someone said to you, I'll give you 50 grand to sleep with Megan Fox, would you do it? And or like, what sum of money would be enough for you to sleep with a woman? And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Let's just get it over with and then just have the chat. And I was like joking along back. And then after that had finished, awkwardly, he had mentioned, like, he had like role reversed the question onto himself and the other young lad. He was like joking, being a bit silly, like saying, oh, blah blah blah, yeah, maybe I would do it for such and such amount of money. But the other one, and this is sort of where the nasty comment comes in, he essentially turned around and was like, do you know what, no, I don't think I could ever look myself in the mirror again. Yeah, I actually think if I slept with a man, I'd actually have to unalive myself. And it was sorry, it caught me off guard severely. I wasn't expecting it, and I did lose my temper quite badly. Like I say, some people would say, oh, benefit of the doubt, he's young, naive. But I think at the age of 20, you're old enough to know your audience if you're going to make a comment like that. And that's the issue I really had with that, is fine if you want to be like a bigger and hateful and be so narrow-minded, then fine, go for it, but do it do it when you're alone. Why have you got to make someone else so uncomfortable? And then I sort of like thought about it more deeply, and I turned around to him and went, like, you are aware that you sort of was like, anyway, it came across to me that it was like, so you think I should, because it's so disgusting, that I should just do it to myself because it's wrong. And I was just, yeah, I was very upset at the moment. I had to walk away before I really sort of laid into him and potentially got fired. So I went away for like 10-15 minutes and came back. Luckily, he had the sense, whether it was him or the other lad, that essentially told him, like, you need to apologise. And he did. He apologised right away, and he said, oh, I'm really sorry, like, I wasn't even thinking. And I said, yeah, alright, it is what it is, but just know your audience. Like, I would never turn around and say something about, like, you, that makes you you, and be like, that's disgusting. Like, oh, you need to, like, and I just think, oh, it just maybe I'm not past. I haven't made peace with it, because it does annoy me, and I just think it's narrow-minded lad behaviour like that really does sort of just keep crap like that going, and I'm just so sick of it, because why should queer people have to turn around and suppress themselves and most of the time all we want to do is just be able to do the same things as the rest of you. Like, I'm not an overly affectionate person, but there are times where I would love to hold my partner's hand, but the level of like sheer panic that comes to me, because I think, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Like, just maybe we're on holiday, or we're sat at the beach, or I don't know, wherever we are, just walking down the street, I don't know, and I just never feel comfortable. The only times that I think I would is like if I was to go to like a pride parade, or maybe like I don't know, like a gay bar, but I'm not really a party person, so it would only really be like a pride parade. And it is kind of sad, because it sort of stems back to that whole thing with my brothers, where it's like, but why is it okay for you to get that, but it's not okay for me or other people like me to have that? Because it makes you feel uncomfortable. Like, what's so gross about it? Like, I'm sure you've got more than enough skeletons in your closet to scare everybody else. But yeah, so apart from like a few odd interactions, I would say that it hasn't affected me in the slightest. Obviously, like I just mentioned, it is a little sad, because there are times where I wish that I could be a bit more affectionate in public, and I know that obviously I could be, like, there's nothing stopping me, but it's just that nerves thing. And like my partner, I'm not sure I should say it here in case you all turn on him, but I was trying to, like, when we were watching Heartstopper the other day, I turned round to him and I sort of said, like, was trying to like have a serious conversation with him, and I made a comment about what was it? I can't even remember. Oh, I think it's like say that I was saying to him, like, we were watching Heartstopper and they were like yelling, oh, he's my boyfriend or something, and I was just like, I still can't stand the idea of having to say the words like I'm gay. And I was trying to be like serious, like trying to have that open up, like be honest with him moment to talk about it, and he sort of turned it into a joke. I don't think he realised that I was being like really serious, and I don't think he realised it wasn't the time for a joke. So it was like a little awkward, but he did apologise, and we spoke about it, and I lost my train of thought. Oh god. I'm gonna make some ASMR sounds while I just try and think quickly. What was I saying? Oh, that was it. Maybe. I don't know. But maybe it is, because his response was, oh wow, that's because of your internalized homophobia. And I don't necessarily think he was right with it being homophobia. I just think there's some internalized, like, from my surroundings, like the comment that my dad made, my brother made, the comments like my mum made about like, oh, well, you need to be careful when you go on holiday, no rainbows or anything because you might get beaten up. And I think that has stuck with me, annoyingly. Hopefully that was the point I was trying to make, but I don't know. But I don't want to ramble for crazy too long. I think we've missed what we've been going for quite a fair time. I don't have my normal setup, so I can't actually see how long this has been going on for. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, me just rambling, getting to know me a little bit better, maybe. Hopefully you all haven't unsubscribed yet. Hopefully you're all still here. Hopefully more of you have joined the elemental army or something. I don't know. But yeah, yeah, it's been quite a nice one, and like while I've had the opportunity to like reflect on the video I filmed yesterday, the same video that I filmed yesterday, it's given me sorry, I'm just opening up a notepad because I like wrote myself some notes. Yeah. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Oh, that was it. While I like from yesterday when I filmed this, I mentioned in that video that if there's a subject that you would want me to talk about, then we can maybe do like a bit of a series on this sort of like podcasty sort of like me opening up sort of series. And I did have an idea or two, like one of them being not necessarily that I've always been like severely overweight, but I've always struggled with my weight ever since I was a kid. Hated it, always sort of not liked the way that my body's looked. So I just thought I might add that in case you guys have enjoyed this video and you would want to maybe have another sort of video like it. But yeah, so, if not, maybe suggest a video idea down below. I'd love to hear them. I miss getting suggestions from you guys. So yeah, that'd be great. But apart from that, like I said, I really do hope you have enjoyed. I'm so sorry. I've had like this like little stuck in my throat because of my cough. Anyway, moving past quickly. I will just quickly just add on here to reiterate that people in my life have changed now. Like even my older brother doesn't really make comments anymore and is somewhat of a normal person. So please don't maybe leave comments down below. I do love my family. They can be a bit foolish at times, but you don't need to come run into my defense. Yeah, I'm just saying, just because obviously I know I've seen social media comments before, and some of my family do know that I have a YouTube channel and they do watch some of my videos. So I would just hate for them to see it thinking, or me giving the impression that they're the exact same people when they're not. But yeah, so yeah, so thank you again. I will just repeat, like I said at the start, if you are new, maybe consider subscribing down below. It would really mean a lot to me. Or if you want to show a bit more support, leave a thumbs up, or a comment down below. Like I said, maybe a video idea, maybe you can tell me how much your coming out story is different from mine. Yeah, I always love hearing from you guys. I love responding to your comments, so I would love to hear more from you. But yes, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to leave you to go to sleep. Hopefully you're already asleep, because I've bored you to sleep. But yeah, so thank you for sticking around with me, and I really do hope to see you on the next video.